Hello guys, today we will look at one of the most talked about games of 2023 and decide whether it's worth the money or can be skipped. The game starts with a group of weirdos sacrificing a paint-covered girl to some kind of cult. Capcom presents. Leon reflects on the events of the second part and the aftermath of his last big adventure. He was invited to some super cool secret government organization to turn him into an elite killing machine. Now he's riding in a car with two local cops, thinking about his new mission to find and rescue the president's daughter. By the way, her name is Ashley. The guys have various conversations, one of which tells Leon that people have been disappearing around here lately, and some tourists recently disappeared. As it usually happens on the road, someone needs to pee urgently, in our case one of the cops, who goes off, and after some time, the others notice that their peeing friend hasn't returned yet. Leon, as the most responsible one, has to go and look for his missing friend. After inspecting some local sites, Leon goes on until he notices a lonely house. To get to know the locals and their way of life, Leon enters the house, finds some satanic stick, his missing friend's badge, and almost gets beaten up by the inhospitable homeowner. Well, we already know that Leon is not an easy guy, so he immediately shows the old man that he won't tolerate violence against him. Having dealt with the old man and obtained his key to the locked rooms, Leon decides to skip dinner and continue searching for the missing cop. When he finds his body, he hears cries for help over the radio from the second police officer who wished to stay in the car. Deciding not to waste any time, Leon rushes to help and encounters the now awakened homeowner and his deranged friends. Realizing he doesn't have enough bullets to kill them all, Leon retreats through the window. After wandering around the area and shooting a couple of aggressive people, Leon reaches a small settlement where he witnesses the locals burning a second cop alive. Understanding that the locals don't like cops, Leon tries to sneak past them stealthily. However, Leon's luck is short-lived, and he is soon spotted, causing the entire settlement to hunt him down. After running for about 5 minutes, a bell rings, causing all the residents to behave like zombies and ignore Leon as they rush into a nearby church. Okay. The Resident Evil 4. Immediately after that, a girl calls Leon, who will occasionally consult with him and find out how his search for Ashley is going. She tells him to go through the mill to the river, as the president's daughter may be there. After looting everything possible, getting a couple of jump scares, and paying his respects to his dead comrade, Leon moves on to the mill. There, he has to fight some crazies and clear a path to the river. Noticing a hole in the floor, Leon can't help but check the source of the noise coming from inside. The noise comes from this moving sack. You can't shoot at it as a warning, so you have to get closer and see what it is. A man jumps out of the bag, but then a huge guy descends into the basement, who is not too friendly. He knocks out Leon and injects some shit into him. Leon wakes up in the company of his new acquaintance, Louis Sarah, who more or less knows what's going on and where Ashley might be. Soon after, Louis escapes and Leon, freed from his chains, goes on an adventure, hugging the locals, getting hit on the head a couple of times, and spending some nice time with a big man in a hat. But then a stranger appears, just in time to help Leon. After rescuing the dog from the trap, information appears that the president's daughter is inside the church, but he cannot get in without a key. Leon finds a boat to cross the lake and search for the key on the other side, but while doing so, he is attacked by some kind of water monster and now he must kill it. Throwing harpoons at it and dodging a couple of attacks, Leon manages to kill the monster, but then he suddenly starts coughing up blood and loses consciousness. During the bad trip, Leon sees an unknown person reach out to him and say all sorts of bullshit. Waking up, Leon heads for the shore. On the other side of the shore, the situation with the locals is no better, so after taking care of them, Leon finds the key and the missing tourists and heads back towards the church. But on his way, he encounters a huge giant that he now has to kill. After shooting him in the face and some kind of wormy appendage, Leon's new dog friend comes to his aid and helps him deal with the giant. Leon doesn't forget to thank the dog and continues on towards the church. Inside, he finds Ashley, who isn't particularly keen on talking, but the crowd of infected people who come at them with weapons convinces her and Leon to cooperate. When the locals almost catch up to Leon and Ashley, Luis appears and invites them to his house. But even there, it's still not safe, so now they have to defend the house together with Luis. After escaping the house unscathed, Leon and Luis notice that Ashley is now coughing up blood too. Luis explains that it's all because of the parasite that's in Ashley and Leon's bodies respectively, and that if they don't remove it, they'll end up like the locals. But he assures them that he'll help Leon and Ashley, as there are two ways to fight this parasite: surgically removing it or slowing its spread with some medicine. When Leon asks Luis why he wants to help them, Luis replies that it makes him feel better. As it turns out, he works for a woman named Ada Wong in exchange for an amber sample. She promises to save Luis from this island. Speaking of the amber, it's a sample of the plaga, which allows people to be turned into controlled parasite-infected beings. While Leon and Ashley were trying to escape from the village, they were caught by this huge guy named Mendez. Realizing that he wouldn't leave them alone, Leon decides to fight him one-on-one like a real man. Leon shot him, poked him several times in the eye, blew up barrels, and voila, Mendez lay defeated facing the ground. Now our guys head to the castle. At that time, Luis calls and says he is waiting for them inside with medicine. At the entrance to the castle, not very friendly guys prepared some fireworks for Leon. But who doesn't like fireworks, right? We gonna take them all. After clearing their way into the castle and getting inside, the guys chat with the local ruler Ramon. He is the last representative of the Salazar family who discovered the plague, but while his ancestors tried to hide the virus far away, Ramon decided to test it on himself and all his people. This respectable gentleman offers Leon to give up the girl, but after sending Ramon to hell and dealing with his minions, the guys continue on their way. When they reach the inner garden, Ashley starts to feel bad, and it turns out that the main villain can now control her actions. Ashley almost killed Leon, and when she came to her senses, she freaked out and ran away in an unknown direction. Great! While Leon was trying to find her, he met Ada, who suggested he abandon Ashley and save himself. Politely refusing her, Leon moves on. After fighting through a bunch of assholes, Leon finds Ashley sitting and crying because she can now lose control at any moment and harm someone. But a couple of sweet words from Pretty Boy, and she's already okay. Really, how someone can refuse such a muscle guy, knowing what he can do with those hands? This doesn't seem to be safe. After looting everything that was possible, Leon enters the castle and immediately falls into a trap. So now we have to play as Ashley. This moment is pretty dull and tense at the same time, as Ashley dies with one hit and has no weapon to protect herself, no fast feet, only a lantern that can stun enemies for a short time. After finding the key and almost reuniting with Leon, some kind of freak lifts Ashley onto its shoulder and carries her away. Now Leon has to find her again. Fortunately, while Ada is chatting with her boss, she notices where they're taking Ashley. Ada passes this information to Leon, so now he needs to go to the throne room to rescue the little princess. But now there will be disgusting bugs and two berserker blind men standing in Leon's way. Yeah, things are getting tough. During this part of the game, I often thought about Ada's pretty cool idea to leave Ashley and go home already. But since the game is linear and doesn't care about my desires, I have to keep going through tears and sweat. When Leon reaches the throne room, he sees how the freaks, led by Ramon, are forcing Ashley to drink some dark liquid that she's not happy about. When Leon tries to say something against it, they throw him into a pit. Of course, he doesn't die, or otherwise, what would be the point of the remaining chapters? After going through a dark sewer or whatever it is, Leon ends up in an underground laboratory. Here, he gets hit by tentacles a couple of times, after which he decides that he's not a pussy boy and shoots a rocket at the annoying parasite. Easy peasy. While Leon is going up the elevator, he feels lousy again and has hallucinations, but just in time, Luis appears and gives him a magical medicine that makes Leon feel better. Now Leon is in the company of an interesting man trying to leave the underground caves. Our new companion is much more useful. Just look at the spinning kicks Leon and Luis pull off together. During local battles, he may not inflict much damage, but makes each confrontation with enemies more interesting and memorable. The minecart rides are also interesting and kind of relaxing. While it would look even better in VR, it's still made pretty well for PC players. I feel these rides provide a good break from constant battles. When the guys finally reach their destination, they have a heart-to-heart talk. During this conversation, Luis admits that he worked on the plaga and helped the game's antagonists. After realizing how many people suffered and could still get harmed because of it, he decides to help those he can. By tradition of Naruto, if a character is shown for a long time, they will definitely die. Luis decides not to break this law and gets stabbed with a knife. He is killed by a known guy to Leon, Major Krauser, who once trained Leon. Krauser did it so that Luis could not pass the amber to anyone. Now Leon has to fight his former trainer with knives. During the fight, they exchange taunts, and Leon reveals some details about his teacher's past. But I'll tell you more about that later. When Krauser almost defeats Leon, Luis, on his last breath, helps his comrade. Krauser leaves for some reason. It feels like in this game, it's not accepted to kill those who try to disrupt the plans. Luis gives Leon the key to his laboratory where Leon and Ashley can remove the parasite from their bodies. And then he dramatically dies, not even putting out his cigarette. So careless. After escaping from the basement, Leon finds out where Ashley was taken and heads there, catching Krauser in the act of abducting Ashley again, and the talkative Ramon unable to keep his mouth shut. Leon gives him a headshot, causing Ramon to transform into some sort of crawling, slimy creature that vomits shit everywhere. After dancing around Ramon and tickling his eyes, Leon moves on. At this moment, Krauser is already taking Ashley to another island by boat. Without wasting any time, Leon finds the first boat and prepares to move on when Ada joins him. So now, our heroes are sailing together to the island, chatting about life along the way. Leon says that since the events in Raccoon City, the world has changed and so has he, but Ada insists that Leon is still the same. He asks if Ada has changed in the past 6 years or if she's using him again, but she dodges the question and disappears as suddenly as she appeared. Speaking of the island, a new type of mutant has appeared, and the regular soldiers now wear armor, making them much harder to kill. Half of the island is taken up by a laboratory filled with creatures capable of regeneration. The only way to kill them is to use a biosensor and destroy all of their organs. After finding Ashley in one of the rooms, Leon notices that she is in bad condition, just like him, and decides to sacrifice the last of the parasite-slowing medicine to save her. When Ashley wakes up, she learns that Luis died heroically, and the group continues moving forward. Upon arriving at the Amber Room, the group is confronted by Lord Sadler himself. He takes control of Ashley's body and orders her to kill Leon, but Leon is lucky because she has run out of bullets. Sadler leaves, taking Ashley with him. I'm starting to believe that Leon has the ability to become invisible and invulnerable at the same time if he stands still for a few seconds. This would explain why his enemies suddenly leave, as if they've forgotten he exists. I think it's time to tell you more about this mystical parasite called Las Plagas. It grants its hosts immense strength, but at the same time, as it develops inside a person, it takes full control of their consciousness, turning them into obedient, aggressive puppets. This parasite has several forms, and most people in this place have its primitive form, while some, like Ramon, Mendez, Krauser, and the Jerk Sadler, possess a more advanced form of the parasite. They are able to transform their bodies at will, without losing their ability to think clearly. Sadler, in particular, possesses a certain king parasite that can control all the other parasites, as you saw with Ashley. By the way, she was kidnapped to be implanted with the parasite, and once she returned home, Sadler could influence the President of America and later on the whole world through her consciousness. Remember the amber that Ada is hunting for? This amber is even more dangerous and powerful than Sadler's parasite, which is why it's important that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. On Leon's way, Major Krauser appears, and now he'll have to fight him to the death, not to Leon's death, obviously. The fight with him is quite interesting and consists of several stages, including overcoming traps, knife-wielding, and fighting his mutated form. However, Krauser's motivation still remains unclear. From the story that Leon told us about Krauser, his squad was once sent on a mission by the government, but when they needed help, they were left to die. Only Leon and Krauser survived. One might think that Krauser harbored resentment towards his government and is now seeking revenge, but as he himself says, that's not the case. According to some sources, during that same operation, Krauser was severely injured and faced dismissal from service due to his physical incapacity. Once he heard about an organization that could restore his strength, which led him to serve the villains. I don't know how true this is, but it sounds plausible. Whether to believe it or not is up to you. So, after defeating his former trainer and taking his knife as a souvenir, Leon gets a new assistant, Mike, who is trying to be friendly and promises to go to a bar with Leon after the mission is done. However, it seems that the visit to the bar has been postponed. Upon reaching the sanctuary, Leon finds Ashley, who is lying unconsciously, and Sadler himself. While he is giving his speech to Leon, Ada appears and shoots everyone, while Leon sneakily takes Ashley and flees. Now, while experiencing hallucinations, Leon, on his last breath, carries Ashley to Luis's laboratory to get rid of the plaga. After placing Ashley on a chair, she regains consciousness and tries to convince Leon to try the device first, but Leon is not a fool, so Ashley ends up being the first one to receive the electric shock. The shock almost sends her to the afterlife, so while there is a peaceful silence, Leon decides to take a nap. When he wakes up, he is surprised to see that Ashley is feeling well, and she informs him that the plaga removal operation was successful for both of them. Now it's time for the final showdown, so Leon and Ashley go to confront Sadler. Upon spotting Ada being hanged by her hands, Leon thinks that it's a trap, but he has no choice but to go and save her as he owes her. He leaves Ashley aside, so she doesn't get in the way as usual. Leon runs to free Ada and ensures her well-deserved comfort and safety. Perfect. The final battle begins and ends quickly. Leon, showing his impatience, shoots a rocket at Sadler's face. After dealing with Sadler's parasite, Leon faints from exhaustion. Quickly coming to his senses, he sees Ada grabbing Amber and jumping onto a helicopter. She throws Leon the keys to the water scooter so he can escape the island as it begins to collapse. Taking Ashley by the hand, Leon runs as fast as he can. Getting on the water scooter, they fly over the waves, dodging all the stones flying toward them. Once they get out, Ashley thanks Leon for saving her and offers to hire him as her personal bodyguard. Leon doesn't see or doesn't want to see her love affection signs and says that she can take care of herself, so they head home. The credits. After the credits, we see Ada talking to her boss. She asks him what purpose he needs this Amber for. Hearing that he is preparing the universal catastrophe, she forces the pilot to turn the helicopter and flies off in an unknown direction. The credits again. That's how Resident Evil 4 Remake turned out. I truly enjoyed this journey. What do you think about this game? Share your opinion in the comments. See you soon.